Welcome to another episode of Career Juice, where we talk to real people with real jobs and get all the juice that it takes for them to succeed in careers that they chose. I'm your host, Tiffany Yard, author of How to Wine with Your Boss and the owner of Motovino, an education platform that pairs professional development and training with really fun programs in wine. Today, we're talking with Greg Beltre, owner of Greg Beltre Photography, corporate and freelance photographer and visual storyteller. Let's get started.
You were able to get a hold of one of these two guys.
So let's jump right into it.
Yeah.
How did you get into photography?
Well, retail, it's designed to suck the soul out of a human being, but it can also be taken as boot camp and prepare you for other jobs.
Right.
Which, in my case, that's how I see it. It gives you the skills to be able to hold better jobs down the line. That's when I started gathering my professional equipment, and I said, you know what? Whatever happens here, I don't know if I'm gonna stay here for long or not. I'm gonna get my stuff ready. I'm gonna take some classes. Whatever money I have to pay for my paycheck, I'm gonna
You invest in yourself.
I'm gonna put it into education. And I started listening to a lot of motivation speakers, and the goal that they all try to convey, the message is you get paid for how you apply the knowledge you have, not for what you know, but how you apply the knowledge you have. And I said, okay, so let me see if I can go from making $15 an hour. And by the way, while I was doing that, I was also a nightclub bouncer.
What?
Yes. So I was that guy with a polite manner telling you, hey, you have two options. You either leave the club or I'll drag you out. How about that? So
Right, your face like fear into the hearts of men, smiling as much as you want.
People will not be intimidated. So guess what? You're getting dragged out. And it will happen very frequently.
Oh,
Too frequently.
God.
I broke this one twice. I no longer do it, but it was interesting. It was a great way for me to meet people from all backgrounds. I think working in nightclubs helps you not drink if you're not a drinker, because the things you see the best and the worst of people in a nightclub setting when alcohol is involved into the mix.
What you have is a wonderful mocktail that's made with grape juice, some lovely lemon lime seltzer, and a few spritz of fresh lime.
And I love it, by the way.
I'm glad you do. So there's no reason, if you're not a drinker, to still not be able to enjoy grape juice. Just different types, refreshing, and with some ice.
If we do a section 2 of this, just fill this one up with the juice. Have more juices. It's
No
really
problem.
Good. It's really
I
good.
can do that. No problem. So how did you get your first client? Because once you transitioned, yeah.
I was actually still at Hollister and Abercrombie, and one of my friends asked me to do her little girl's 4th birthday party. Well, count me in. I called out sick of my job on that day. I remember that, and I went and I gave that job my very best. Made a mess, pretty much. So I wasn't expecting, my expectations were in a place, and I didn't consider the lighting of a venue and all that beforehand. And then I encountered all that, and I was like, ooh. But at the end, I was able to salvage images, and she loved what I did. That's the bottom line. And she still hires me to this day. Everything she has going.
We all hire you.
Yes, you do. Yeah, I appreciate that.
We love Greg. Everyone loves Greg.
I appreciate that. It's times of pressure like that. That's when you're being tested. Like if you have something that's weak within you, that's gonna come out. That's gonna come out. But if you know that you're able to do it, or at least you trust that somehow you'll get it done, you'll get it done. You'll make it happen.
Videographer that you have a great relationship with.
Yes.
Building a team, for these kind of projects. What's that like, and what have been some of the pitfalls that you hit, and what would you want to tell people to avoid when they're trying to do the same thing?
Don't look for somebody to point your finger to. Put it on yourself. Just go like this, carry the whole thing, put it on you, and then say, okay, how am I gonna get this done? Of course, that older voice in your head is gonna be like, "Oh, quit! Get off from it! Run!" That path of least resistance. Yeah. It's always wide open. God, this way. God.
Oh yeah, take a break right now.
So if you follow that path of least resistance, you're not gonna get anywhere in life. You need to have sometimes this these things happen to you, like messed up
Attention.
stuff happen to you that makes you say, okay, I gotta get it done. Like when you're known for the guy that gets things done, then
The money
Yeah.
follows, the clients follow, absolutely,
Correct,
the trust
correct.
follows.
Because when you have that level of trust, you have to keep delivering, of course. You know, you can't let your guard down. Like, oh, I'm in. It's- you have to keep pushing yourself for excellence, self mastery. Like whatever you're doing, you need to keep educating yourself. Like
Yeah.
the moment you stop educating yourself, if there's another kid in a different country that's gonna do whatever you're doing for a quarter of the price. They'll do it faster, better. My main, I call that my Achilles heel so far, is hiring people to edit the work that I shoot. Because I want to convey a story from the first image that I give to the customer or the client to the last image. I want them to say something. I want them to look seamless. And I find that some people, if they don't share my view of the event or they were not there, they're not gonna get the essence of the event. It's tough for people to put up with me, and I know I'm difficult. I need to probably just.
It's why we're friends, because ultimately I get it.
I need to settle down and let people work, probably.
Well, I will say this, as a perfectionist and working with myself being one and guilty of the same, the feedback that I get from the teams that, whether they're project-based or even in the corporate space, is that the pressure alone can be very demotivating to the team. And as someone who knows the full vision, even after you share it, there's still being the aspects of they just don't have all of it yet, and you know what you're looking for, but they're not in your head. And I'm so glad you said 85%, because that's usually what you're going to get. And having to be okay with that is so hard, especially when you've already created the vision in your mind of where you know you can get with this. And the term they say is, you can go by yourself really fast, but you need people to go really far.
Yes.
And so, having to find that balance myself, I struggle. So you're not alone, and people like us are not alone. But I will say though, when it comes to just how the morale of the team is impacted, when you hire someone, you don't even realize so much how much of a pedestal some of those people put you on. Because they're coming to learn, they're coming for opportunity. So even something that you may think is just a simple criticism, to someone else, they could go home and cry about it.
Correct.
They mull over it, and you're like,
Correct.
I was just giving you feedback. But it's as if they take your opinion of them and what you're teaching them as bigger than life, that it makes you have to be more mindful how you say things, what you say. And I've certainly learned that the hard way. Getting that criticism from teams post-project really helps shape how I communicate going forward, because I know I can be abrasive. I know if I'm in the thick of something, it's game on, fierce, focused, and sometimes things can come off a little more harsh than they need to. And people can be really sensitive.
Yeah, that's true.
And I find perfectionists, we're not very sensitive on the side of getting things done.
Right.
We're still human, but we're so good at getting focused on getting whatever needs to be done that nothing's personal. And bulldozing through whatever goal we've set.
I noticed that if I'm aware of my facial features when I'm talking to other people, sometimes that helps. Like, that sucks. It's better than that sucks. They say, that sucks. They're more likely to keep collaborating than, call their mom. I mean, like, Greg's being a jerk. So it's good to develop thick skin, in any industry, because you will be criticized, and that's okay.
And that's enough to turn people off from entrepreneurship, because for every yes, there's like 35 million no's.
That first year, I didn't make much money. I was very broke, and so I had to get back to a 9-to-5, and that was tough. I don't know how I got the guts to go to this studio and ask for a job. Actually, I was in a convention for photographers in Nashville, Tennessee. I remember the panel's name was 3 Golden Nuggets. The guy said that he was from New York. I said, this is my guy. So I ran down there before the thing ended, shook his hand. I told him, are you looking for an assistant? He said, well, let's see what you got. And the moment I landed in New York, I waited like a couple hours and I ran to the studio. And I was asking for him. He was there. And I told him, just give me the job. Listen, you don't even have to pay me. Give me the job. So I go shooting with them for the first time as an assistant. And I realized what a New York wedding is. The weddings that cost $500,000. These are the expensive weddings, like the ones you see in magazines. It was one of those, my first one. When I showed them the work that I did there as an assistant, as second shooter, they said, Greg, this sucks. This is bad. These are all bad. These images, you gotta go. This, too much blank space, doesn't say anything on top. Her, the bride is not pretty. She's fat. Why are you taking pictures from this angle? You're making her look fatter. She's not gonna buy this. Every image you take, picture the client buying it for a print. You can't sell any of this. This sucks. It killed me in a sense, but it also helped me and opened my eyes in another sense. Shut up your mouth, open your eyes. Whatever they're saying, absorb it. Take it, apply it. Because if you don't, you're gonna pay the price. You're excellent if you polish yourself. It brought me from here to calm down, Greg. But now I know the next time I'm going shooting what to shoot for. In those minutes that he was teaching me there, that taught me more than any book, than any flight that I took, any convention that I attended. That little moment there.
I meant by way of keeping a relationship. Did he ever check in on you?
I actually send him emails from time to time. Every year for Thanksgiving, I have to say thanks to this guy. He's on my list. And it's just that. Why not? He helped me so much in such a small span of time. And that taught me a lot. Also, the way to dress for events. Every event, you need to be well-grown.
So that professionalism goes a long way.
Correct.
Because people who aren't creatives just see you as yet another vendor, someone they're hiring to do a certain job, and they judge you from the minute you walk in the door, the words coming out your mouth. Which is why, you do so well with corporate events too, because at the end of the day, people confuse you,
Think I'm
for a lawyer.
Yes, it does happen very frequently that people think I'm a lawyer. And then if I go to a dentist event, they think I'm a dentist. And because I take it that serious.
Especially when you're in a space where someone bringing you in, the impression that you make also reflects on them. And so being so thoughtful of that, again, just builds trust and makes people want to work with you over and over again.
We are very visual. Like when we think, we're seeing images. When we remember stuff, we're seeing images. The images are positive, we have a positive attitude towards them. Same thing when we remember people. You remember a well-dressed guy knocking on your door, you might let him in and sell you whatever he's sending you. You dress not only to impress, but to get to where you need to get. I have something that I never spoken to anybody about it. You're gonna be the first I speak about it. Every time I go to an event, doesn't matter the size of the event that I'm shooting, I make a list the night before of how I want that to go down, how my expectations, my goals for this event. Well, if I'm getting paid $200, $2,000, or $3, $5, $10, whatever, I have my goals written down. The first one is always, I'm gonna give this job my absolute best. Every time, followed by different goals and expectations that I have for that event. And so that's like a blueprint of how things need to go down for me. Whatever happens, whatever craziness you throw at me during the event, there's one of these lines stating how am I gonna deal with that. I'm gonna be super flexible. I'm gonna have an absolute positive attitude. This job is gonna open the door to many, many more jobs. And then I put many, many, many more. And I write this.
Talk about affirmations.
It's like 10 commandments that I have, and they always mix in different order, but it's about the same 10 all the time. And I find this excellent because it gives me a strong blueprint of what my expectations are, where I'm standing, and where I need to be by the end of this. And that's very helpful in my mind. It's like when you're taking a road trip, you need to have a GPS or a map or something, so that way you get from point A to point B clearly with no hiccups. What happens during the event, secondary. One of this is gonna help me overcome whatever is thrown at me there, and everything I need to keep pushing for. It's like a big freight train. I need to keep going for my goals, and I do it each and every event.
Many thanks to Greg for joining us today and giving us all the juice that it takes to succeed in the photography space and the visual storytelling space. Tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for more talk on careers and the people that are doing it big, doing it well, and really paving ways for those coming through the pike. See you soon. Cheers. I got the juice.
You got the juice.